Yeah, can everybody hear me? Okay, just maybe a thumbs up or in a message. So yeah, sorry guys, we'll get there in the end. So Ishango is a social enterprise. We are looking at bringing high-skilled data science jobs to Africa. We believe that there's a wealth of talent on the continent, and mainly what they lack is access to opportunities. So we want to be the bridge between the talent in Africa around data science and international companies that are looking for data science talent in order to build their businesses. How do we do this? We run a fully funded residential program. It's a 2-month program, and we fellows get the opportunity to work on real-life projects for international companies. And in the process of working on these projects, they get to build their technical skills, their soft skills, and really gain real-world experience, because that's another project that you can add on your portfolio and really demonstrate that you have the skills. And what we've seen is this is really boosting the employment prospects of the fellows that go through our program. So just a quick introduction about myself. Like I've already said, I'm Eunice. I'm a co-founder of Ishango. I have over 12 years experience working in the tech space in Africa. So my area of specialization is technology for development. So looking at how technology can be used to advance development. And with Ishango, my goal is really about how do we use technology skills and increasing access to drive job creation and employment on the continent. That's something I'm really passionate about. I'm from Uganda, and we have quite a high youth unemployment rate. So this is something that's really sort of personal for me. I have a master's from the University of Cambridge in social innovation, and I've done a whole bunch of speaking and stuff on this topic. So feel free to look me up if you'd like to know more. So a little bit about how the Ishango program works. So first of all, we take time to scope out projects that are going to be the right fit for the program. So we know we have 2 months in which we have to deliver these projects. So the projects need to have a real final target that they can work to, so that fellows have a clear, tangible output that they can deliver on. It also needs to be something that is using, data science tools that can really help our fellows develop their skills, and something that adds value to the organization. So that's the first stage, is the project scoping. In tandem, we actually are working on the fellow recruitment side. So while we're talking to companies and getting projects, we're also doing the fellowship recruitment. We get graduates. Our focus is on people with a master's in a background in mathematics or computer engineering. Also mathematical based subjects as well will be considered. Physics, statistics, etc. And we aim to have master's levels graduates, because that's where we've seen we have the right sort of mathematical and technical founding. However, we're also opening up to if you have an undergraduate degree as well, and I'll go into a bit more details on the requirements. But if you have an undergraduate degree and you have 1 to 2 years experience in data science, or you have an undergraduate degree and you've completed a number of sort of short courses in data science, and you're able to demonstrate that you have that data science sort of foundation and experience, we will consider your application. So we take you through a rigorous process that has technical assessment. We do a technical take-home assessment, and then we schedule interviews, technical interviews with senior data scientists. And then finally, you have sort of a professional interview with a potential project company. And then we have the process of matching fellows with projects. So we know that as fellows, you also have your own goals for your career. So you have areas that you want to work in. So maybe you have an interest in financial services, or you have an interest in health, data science for health, or you have an interest in data science in the agriculture space. So we want to help you achieve those goals. So there's really a process of looking at fellows' skills. So what skills do you have vis-a-vis the projects that we have? So if a project requires very advanced skills in Python, for example, or needs someone that has experience having worked in sort of financial services, but also we look at where you as a fellow have an interest as well. So it's really about finding the right fit on both sides. And so we go through that process of matching fellows to projects. And then we have the project delivery period. This is our residential, where we take 2 months. It's a full-time program. It's like you're working for this company full-time during that time. Of course, it's remote. You'll be based in Accra, and many of our companies will be based in different parts of the world, but you work as a team. So what we aim to do is have 2 people working on a team per project, so that you're not, sort of isolated and on your own with your project, but you can have a teammate to sort of share idea with and sort of push each other to do even more and exceed expectations on your project. And also you receive support. So one of the key things about our model is you have a data scientist in residence. This is an experienced data scientist who has more than 5 years experience in the data science field, has experience working with international companies. And this is someone who will come and be based with you in for the 2 months at the residential, supporting you with your projects. So they will not do the work for you, but they can offer you guidance where you get stuck, or point you towards the right resources that you'll need to sort of help you figure out. It is a process where you kind of learn on the job, really. We don't expect you to have all the knowledge or all the expertise that a project needs, but what we do look for and what we expect is for you to be somebody that has that drive and that passion to learn, and can already show that you are really passionate about data science. You're really already applying data science to solve real world problems, and that you love to, when you get on a problem, you can go out, find the tools, learn quickly and solve it. Yeah, so just quickly, there's a comment about somebody who says they can't hear. Is that the same for everybody, or can I get a few thumbs up or confirmation that you can hear me? Yeah. All right, so please check if you're having trouble hearing, please check your settings, or maybe try rejoining the call, because that sometimes helps. Rejoin the call and maybe select, join with your audio. Maybe that hasn't connected. Great, so most of you can hear me, which is fantastic. So I will keep going. So that's kind of the process, and then it goes over a timeline. So we take, the preparation, project matching and talent matching can take about a month. So finding all the projects and matching them to the right fellows. So you'll see from the timelines when we're aiming to do that, and we're actually doing things on a rolling basis. So as much as I'm saying 1 month there, we're really starting to do things on a rolling basis. So the sooner you put your application in, if you haven't already, the better, because starting as soon as next week, we're going to start sending out the take-home assignments, and then start the interviews, and then we'll have the project matching as the projects come in. And then you have, when you go to the residential, so week 1 to 8, the residential is 8 weeks. Week 1, you'll have a project kickoff call. You'll be introduced to your assigned project. You'll meet the other team. Normally, you're working with the data science team at the host company, and you will connect you to them. They'll tell you more about the project and more about the data you'll be working with, about the tools. You will usually connect you on Slack as well. So I don't know if all of you know Slack. It's just a tool. It's like WhatsApp for business, I would say, but you can create groups. So we'll create a group for you with your project team at the company. And it's really, the first week is for you to get to know the data, get to know the tools, really get settled in. And then from week 2 to week 8, it's about delivery. And I'll just reiterate, it's basically like you have a full-time job for these 8 weeks. You have to show up at the office. You have to be professional. You'll have meetings, check-in meetings scheduled with your host company. We call them your client. They're actually your client. They've given you a project to deliver. You have to give updates to them. Of course, you'll have the data scientists in residence supporting you. We also will have weekly sessions from experts in different data science fields. So whether that's data visualization or language processing. Every week we'll have one person come in and do an in-depth talk about some work they've done. The goal of these are really to expose you to different, data science is a very broad field. So it's really to expose you to different tools and different projects and sort of see what's possible within a data science career and what different people and experts are doing and what are the sort of best in practice tools and approaches that are being used. So on top of learning and working on these projects full time, you'll also have these sessions that are sort of providing you with more career exposure and knowledge and skills. And then at the end of the project, you'll have a final presentation to do. I encourage you to go to our website, Ishango.ai, and view the final presentations from our last cohort last year. This will give you an idea of what we expect from you at the end. So you'll have to sort of present the project that you worked on and really showcase the work that you've done. This is a really nice takeaway for you. It's great, it's something to add on your CV. You can add the link to your CV, you can add it to your LinkedIn. It really shows potential employers that you've delivered something tangible for an international company. So it's just a really nice output also for the companies, but also for you as a fellow. This is an example of some of the companies that we had for our last cohort last year. World Remit, you know, a huge company transacting over 200 countries in the world. Philip Morris International is also, you know, a publicly listed company. Elder Research does cutting edge research in data for clients around the world. Tails.com is a leading online platform that sells dog food. Is based in the UK but sells across Europe. Simprint does digital identity projects, and Omniscient does, again, also a research data science research consultancy based out of Australia. So really we had companies from US, you know, Australia, global companies like World Remit and Philip Morris, and so we are really proud of the caliber of host companies that we were able to attract and the exposure that this provided for our fellows, because a lot of them were actually showcased. So Philip Morris did a PR piece on the fellows and the work they'd done. Simprints also showcased the work that their fellow had done and shared them on social media, etc. So it's really a great way for you to have, having worked with some of these companies on your CV, but also the networks that it opens up, because they will be sort of sharing your work as well. Can I get that next slide, please? This is some of our technical advisors, and these are faces that you might see when you go through the interview process. So we have James Welsh and Neil Deere, who both work at the Alan Turing Institute. The Alan Turing Institute is basically the National Institute for Data Science and Artificial Intelligence in the UK. So this is where, the cutting edge of data science research is being done within the UK, and they've done all sorts of projects from, how did transport and mobility change when, during the pandemic, working on sort of big national data science projects. And we're very lucky to have Neil and James as part of our technical advisory team. And they help us in scoping out projects and doing some of the interviews. Oliver is our past data scientist in residence. So he was our data scientist in residence last year, and he was the one supporting the fellows. We had a program in Kigali last year, so he was in Kigali for 2 months. He's a senior data scientist at Credit Suisse. He also has a PhD, has done extensive research. So this is just to give you an idea, again, of the caliber of people that we are aiming to have and recruit as our data scientist residents again this year. It won't be Oliver this year, but it will be somebody else. So this is just to give you an idea of sort of the level of people we're looking at to come and support you and sort of share their skills with you. So I'll quickly go through the application process. I talked about it a little bit already, but now this is just giving you a bit of timelines for this year. So the application form is open for those who, some of you have already applied. Those who haven't, please, I encourage you to apply as soon as possible. Don't wait for the deadline, because we are actually going to start opening up the take-home assignment as soon as possible, as soon as 1st of March, actually. So you complete the application. We're asking about your background, your experience. We want to see your passion for data science. We want you to see what stuff you're already doing in data science. I really encourage you to add, there's a section where we ask you about, just add a few links to your own personal projects that I've done, what we're looking for is not only people who have the technical skills, or yes, you can code in Python or R. What we want to see is, are you the sort of person that is seeing a problem around you and using data science to solve it? It might be a small website or app you built for something, whether it was in school or for your master's or for your undergrad project. Please add those things there. We're asking for your GitHub account. I think showing that you are sort of coding and developing solutions is really good. It's something we want to see. So if you don't have a GitHub account and you have stuff that you can add on there, I really encourage you to do that, because it's something that I've seen our technical when you do the technical interview, it's one of the things that interviewers like to look at and see that you're not only saying you know how to code, but you actually have samples of your code there that they can look at and sort of see what level you're at. So after the application form, you'll have the take-home assignment that's going to open next week, and then it will close on the 25th of March. Also, it's something that do as soon as possible. So some people, it takes them a couple of hours. Some people, do it and then go back to it. But just when you receive the invitation to do the take-home assignment, again, I encourage you not to wait for the deadline, but do it as soon as possible. One thing I didn't mention is, when you do the application, we will review the applications to make sure you have the minimum requirements we want. Like we said, undergrad or master's degree, a master's degree in a mathematical or computer-based course, or a bachelor's degree and experiences and courses completed in data science. Then if you meet those minimum requirements, you'll receive an invitation to do the take-home assignment. So not everybody who will do the application who will do the take-home assignment. We'll have kind of a funnel going down. And then we have interviews. So we'll have interviews between, again, as soon as the take-home assignment opens. All of these deadlines are showing you when something ends, not when it begins. So for example, take-home assignment will start as soon as 1st of March, and it will be on a rolling basis. Similarly, interviews, once you've submitted your take-home assignment and you've passed, you might be reached out to receive to be invited for an interview. So this is just showing you that we will finish interviews 8th of April, not that they will necessarily start on the 8th of April. Everything is on a rolling basis. That's why we don't have a start date, we just have the end. Then after the interview, if you pass your technical interview, you will receive a conditional offer. What does this mean? When you receive a conditional offer, it means that you've met all the requirements. You actually have the technical skills, you have the passion, you have the profile that we're looking for in an Ishango fellow. However, it all, to officially be confirmed as a fellow, is dependent on us finding a project that is the right match for you. And like I said before, this is a two-sided process, that it meets your interests and where you want to go in your career, but also that the company is happy with the skills that you have and your ability to deliver that project. So until we have a match, your offer is conditional. Once we have a match and you've met with a company and they're happy, then we'll give you a confirmed offer. It is possible, it is possible that you might have a conditional offer and we don't find the perfect match of a project, in which case you will be pushed to our next cohort. But again, that's quite unlikely. Last year we were able to sort of find matches for most people, unless there were other circumstances that stopped them from being able to fully commit to that period. And so once you get your confirmed offer, we'll expect you to report on the 15th of, actually we prefer that you come before, like the weekend before. 15th of May is a Monday, so we expect you to be ready to start for your kickoff call on the 15th of May, and that you will be available full-time for 8 weeks from 15th of May to 8th July, showing up every day to work at the on the project at our base, which will be in Accra. So can I get the next slide, please? Yeah, so this is the partner that we're looking at partnering with this year is in Accra. They're based off of Spintex Road. So again, thinking about if you're not based in Accra, you will need to move to Accra and be based there, maybe find some accommodation, We do pay a stipend, and the details of that will be shared with you once you get your confirmed offer. But I can say it's a generous stipend that we should be able to cover your costs. We look at the cost of living in the city, and it's something that we believe that you should be able to find accommodation and pay for your travel and food while you're working. But if you're outside of Accra, you will think about the fact that you will need to sort of move, either find a hostel or a place for 2 months while you're there. We will pay you your first stipend after the first month you work. So you need to think about the fact that there is some financing beforehand for the first month, just kind of like if you started a new job and you moved somewhere. So those are all factors that you need to really think about as you're applying for the fellowship. Once you commit and get that offer, it's really like you've received sort of a job offer for those 2 months. So we really expect you to take that seriously and make that commitment. We'll provide a working space. Fast internet is really important for us, obviously, because you're working with big data, you might be working with a lot of data, and obviously we expect to have the highest level of professionality when you're facing with the clients. We want to make sure you are in a space that looks befitting. We want professionalism, make sure your camera is on so you're not worrying about your mobile data or MBs getting finished. So we cover all of that. Next slide, please. So this is just some of our past fellows. As you see, a lot of them, last year we partnered with AIMS, which is the African Institute of Mathematical Sciences. So all our fellows were from there and had degrees in mathematics, in machine intelligence, and big data and computer security, etc. We really care about gender diversity. So we're very proud of the fact that last year we had 50% of our cohort as women. So please, please, we encourage you, I particularly encourage the ladies to apply. But yeah, obviously we welcome all applications. Can I have the next slide, please? So now I've seen a few questions. Somebody had a question about the accommodation and stuff. We're going to have a Q&A after this, but I wanted us to first of all invite Bright. Bright was on our fellowship last year in Kigali. He's from Ghana. So I'm hoping Bright can speak from the perspective of a fellow in terms of how he found the program, what it helped in terms of his skills and his exposure for his professional career. So before we go into the questions, I know you have lots of questions. Feel free to type them into chat so you don't forget them, but we're going to have a Q&A after this. But before that, let me invite Bright. Are you online?
Hello, Eunice, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Thank you, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. Good morning to all of you. My name is Bright. I was a fellow last year in Rwanda. I work with Philip Morris. So Philip Morris is into tobacco product and stuff like that. So my job was to use satellite images to identify tobacco fields that will be in Mozambique and then Malawi. So basically, we build what we call a system that is able to identify the tobacco fields even without data from the industry. So we rely heavily on satellite images, which are publicly available. So basically, I'm a Ghanaian. I have a master's in mathematical sciences from AIMS. I'm proud to joining Ishango. I work on few projects. I work with REMA, Rwanda Environmental Management Authority, also in the same space as a climate and then machine learning researcher. Again, I use satellite images. So I have quite experience in the use of satellite images on machine learning and its application. So to my experience with being a fellow, well, it was quite challenging for a fact that I should say it was challenging and rewarding at the same time, because if you know you're working on a very tough project, then at the end of the day you deliver over and above what is expected. It gives you that kind of joy, you know. So it is going to be very challenging, but then I think once you put your minds and then your heart to whatever you want to achieve, it is very achievable. So don't feel pressured. Yeah, you can achieve it equally. So we were hosted in Rwanda. We had apartment. I don't know if that will be the same for Ghana actually. So in our case, we were hosted in shared apartment in Kigali. So because we are all from AIMS and provided a transport system that takes it to and from our workplace. So basically we get up in the morning and then the bus comes to pick us, send us to the work and bring us back every evening. We had a couple of other activities that are outside the scope of the fellowship. So we had activity ranging from social gathering, where we visit most of the good sites in Kigali, in Rwanda. We had a lot of parties outside the fellowship, of course. So it is really a community for you to be able to learn and to partner with people. So as Eunice said earlier on, there are people that work on different aspects or different projects, all right? People who work on brain scan, people work on hydropower systems. So in as much as you are working on your project, you have the chance to learn from others as well. You have the chance to have an idea of what they are working on. You would exchange with them. So it doesn't not only sort of boost your own experience, it gives you an opportunity to have a wider scope of what happens in the data science or in the artificial intelligence community. So you are not sort of restricted to only your area, even though that is the primary goal of your fellowship. At the end of the day, you have a fair idea of what someone else is working on, and I think all in all, that boosts your prospect. It boosts your skills as a data scientist to come. I don't know if I can talk about what the sort of process that we went through, the kind of exams we. So
how did you find the recruitment process?
Yeah. So unfortunately for me, I was one of the last people who applied. All right. So I sent my application and then I had the technical interview. All right. So I don't know if I can talk about what was involved in my case. So
was it challenging? Was it easy? How did you prepare? This is what they want to know. How did you prepare? What do you think you did that made you stand out and get admitted?
For me, everything is it could be easy, it could be challenging, all right? It all depends on the mindset you attach to it. So nothing is easy, nothing is difficult. Okay. If you're going for any interview or any technical assessment, you should prepare. So probably a quick Google search will help you. Say you Google to know interview questions for data science, jobs. Something pops up. All right, it gives you an idea of which areas you can prepare on. So in my case, that's what I did. I did a quick risk. Even though I had some experience in the first already, I still prepared. All right, so I did a quick research on the kind of technical exams that we will get, coding exams. So it gave me an idea of what to expect. Okay, and then yes, because I prepared, it was quite easy for me. So it wasn't that difficult. It was easy, but that will depend on the individuals. And then, but the good thing is once you are prepared, you should be fine to go. It's not difficult actually. So you should look at your SQL. If you're a Python programmer, you should look at some regression, linear logistic. You should have a look at them. If you are from the math background, which I'm sure most of you will be, to look at graphs in general, because graphs play a very important role in artificial intelligence and then in data science. So you look at graph, you look at trace, you look at nodes, how to calculate the distance between a node and then from one node to the other node. This will definitely help you in the exams. I don't know if that's all.
One more question for you, and there might be others from the fellows, but what did you find the most, one, challenging, but also the most rewarding on working with an international team? So talk about where were the people you're working with located, talk about things like, time difference, accents, culture. How did you find the experience of working with, international people remotely? And what were some of the challenges, but also the rewards of doing that?
Okay, so our partners were in Poland, and I think Poland and then Rwanda. I think it's just 1 hour difference, so the timeline wasn't so much of a problem. Maybe if Poland and Ghana would be maybe 3 hours difference, I think so. So that might be a little bit of a problem. But for my case, it was Poland and then it was in Kigali. That just means 1 hour difference, which isn't much of a problem. And then on the accent, because those guys speak Polish, so you sort of hear this sort of strong Polish in the English, but but then it is not much of a problem. They were very generous to let you or to let us use whatever tool we find available. So they did not sort of restrain us on use a specific tool. Okay, so we propose the tools we want to use. So for instance, they wanted us to use the SIGMaker, but then to do that, we have to apply, we have to have the credentials for the company. So we thought it would be much easier for us to use Google Earth Engine. And then they did not hesitate. Well, they told us, because they don't have much sort of exposure on that, if you are going to use that, you're going to do most of them on your own, which for me it was equally good. But it gives you time to learn a lot of them. So there was no much restriction on what specific tool to use in my case. So they were very lenient on whatever we want to use, so long as we are able to achieve the set targets. What was most challenging in our case was we had an issue with sort of data, okay, but that was overcome that as a result of the fact that we used Earth Engine, which has a lot of data in-house. So the issue of data was sort of sorted out when we moved to that platform. So yeah, basically.
Great. Thank you so much, Bright. I know there's lots of questions and I've already seen some coming in. Bright, are you able to stay on? Because I think there might be maybe some questions for you as well.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I can just do that.
Great. Right. So the next item on the agenda is the Q&A. So we want to hear from you. I know there is already questions, so maybe we'll start tackling some of the ones in the chat, and then feel free to type more in, or also to raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question. So somebody had wanted a clarification on the cost of travel and residence in the entire time of staying in Accra. So first of all, you will need to cover your cost of your travel to Accra. In terms of accommodation, we will provide you with a monthly stipend. So at the end of each month, you'll get a stipend that will cover your accommodation costs and upkeep. Right now, I'm not able to tell you what that is, but as you get further on in the process, we will sort of share those details with you. It will be in your offer letter, etc. But just to tell you, it's something we've obviously thought about carefully. I don't think, and we're looking at the cost of living and what's sort of a good level that will make sure that you're comfortable. Yeah, the amount will be revealed, but just know you'll get a stipend to cover those costs, but you will be paid at the end of the first month. Just like if you were starting a new job, you get your first salary at the end of the month. So that first bit, you need to, you know, and again, if this is going to be a challenge, we can always have a call with a way of helping you make sure that is. So please don't let that cost of that first month be a barrier to you applying. That's my main point. Apply, and if you're good, you have the skills, you have the passion, you're matched with a project, we will do whatever we can to make sure that you're able to travel and stay. Bright mentioned in his call when they went to Kigali, because the cohort last year was a bit different, because last year we partnered with AIMS, and AIMS has campuses around Africa. So we had actually majority of the fellows had to fly into Kigali, and Kigali was not their home. They were not from there. So for, you know, what was agreed was that AIMS would find accommodation and fellows would pay towards part of their stipend towards that accommodation, and also AIMS contributed part of it to that. So it was sort of an arrangement made with the cohort saying, we are foreigners to this country, it's safer for us to find something together, and let's do that, and we will contribute towards this accommodation. I think similarly with your cohort, we will have a meeting as we kick off to see what works for everyone. It might be that we get the whole cohort, because the cohort is, we're aiming for a maximum of 15 people. It might be like 10 of the 15 people are already based in Accra, their homes are in Accra, they don't want to spend extra money paying for an apartment, and so we will not do that option. It might be that out of the 15, 10 are coming from other parts of Ghana, they're not from Accra, and so we'll say, okay, let's arrange some an apartment, and then we'll pay part of your stipend towards that, and we can figure that out. So all I'm saying is this can look differently, but ideally, what we initially is that you need to cover your cost to Accra, hopefully arrange your accommodation, and then we will pay you a stipend at the end of the month to cover those costs. So you will have to sort of cover that in advance. But again, this can change depending on the needs of who we actually find. So don't worry about this for now. Worry about getting through the process and being admitted. Anything to do with like costs and stuff, we will work together to make sure we find a solution. The next question is it possible to confirm if actually somebody has applied? So I don't understand this question. You applied, but you're not sure if you applied. As in, I imagine you clicked submit, and yeah, you should have gotten a form saying, a response on the screen saying your form has been submitted. But if you have any questions, I guess, yeah, can you, maybe Courage, can they message you just to double check if we have the application on file? I would say, yeah, just get in touch with us. You know, there's a contact form on the website, or directly with Courage, and we can check for you. But hopefully, yeah, it should be fine. If you submitted your form, we will have received it, and we will get a response to say if you're through to the next phase of the take home or not. I'm a fellow from Ghana, and I have a background in mathematics. I'm not sure I understand this question. Maybe Mohammed, if you'd like to clarify, when you're saying, is there space for beginners in your institution? I'm not sure what that means, but if you have a mathematics background, and you have and you've graduated, you need to have graduated. So we don't take ongoing students, because again, it's a full-time residential. You will have to work on it full-time. So you won't be able to study and work at the same time. So that's just the main thing that I'll say, but I'm not sure what you mean by beginners. I think you do need to have certain skills, you know, sort of coding or exposure, or, you know, data science tools, because you will start working on the project directly. And also, I guess one thing I need to clarify is we are not training you in data science from zero. Like, you don't come with absolutely no coding, no knowledge of data science at all, because what we are offering is practical experience, learning while working on a project. So you do need to have that basic understanding. And if you've completed our form, or if you go through our form, we're asking you for what level of skills in the different coding languages that you have, what projects have you done, what areas of, what data science sort of projects or work have you done before. So you do need to kind of have a certain minimum level. So I don't know if that answers if that was the question around beginner, like if you're at 0, probably you need to complete some online courses on, say Python, data science, and stuff online. There's lots of free courses. And actually, one of the things we want to do is curate some of these courses and have them available on our website. So anyone who is like starting at 0 can first go and complete those, and then when they're ready, can come back and apply. But hopefully that answers your question. If not, please clarify and type it in the chat. The next question is talking about, are there different tracks based on level of applicants? No. Do they go through the same curriculum? Again, just to emphasize on curriculum, we are not training you like classes, like this is how you do this, this is how you do this. We are giving you projects to work on, and you should have a minimum level, you need to have certain level of skills in coding languages, and then you'll need to be able to start working on the project. And of course, as you go through the project, there'll be other tools you don't know, and you have to sort of learn. But yeah, I think in terms of level, maybe it's just about what is right for you in terms of the project. So for example, one of our projects last year needed somebody who was very good with Python, but we had a candidate who her Python wasn't very good, but she was very good in R. So what we did is, we knew she had the other experiences for the project in terms of like the experience and sort of the sector, and also the passion for the space. So we looked at partnering her. When we chose a team, we partnered her up with somebody who was very good with Python. So it's like, where you may not be strong, maybe we can find somebody in the team who can complement your skills. That's the only way I can say we can have people with different skill levels. It's really about the project and what the project needs, as opposed to different tracks necessarily.
Eunice, could I chip in a little bit here?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Well, I'll just say hello to everyone first. So my name's Jasmine, and I'm the program coordinator at Ishango. So a little about my role. I work alongside the fellows and also the host companies and our technical advisors. So if I could give a little bit of background on the process behind the scenes, we are a very small program. It's quite intimate. So people who make it through our application process, we have a good gauge of your background, your skill set, and likewise also of the individual project. So last year we had 14 fellows in total and 6 host companies. Not each of those projects were to the same level or to the same challenge, and we can understand, and working alongside our technical advisors, identify the projects which are the most technically challenging or perhaps require a skill set within a specific area. And then we do a very bespoke matching to the fellows. So in this sense, there is a variety, but again, reiterating what Eunice says, there's not a curriculum to pass through per se, and it's more a case of matching a skill set and interest to an individual project.
Yeah, thanks, Yasmin. And I guess that means that if you're not necessarily confident that you have the highest level of, say, Python or something, that shouldn't put you off applying. We are asking you in the application form, put what coding languages you have and rate yourself, intermediate, beginner, intermediate, advanced. Of course, you can rate yourself. We will test you on this, and you'll be asked in your in technical interviews to sort of back that up. But yeah, don't worry so much and say, oh, I'm not perfect at everything, because yeah, we will expect you to learn, and we'll also match you to a project where we feel your skills will be the right fit. Thanks, Yasmin. And again, just feel free to chip in on any of the other questions as well. Again, there's another question on course. I think I've talked about that. We will not be working physically with international companies. It's going to be remote. So you'll be physically at our workspace in Accra, and then having sort of virtual calls and meetings and delivering on it virtually, if that makes sense. I've talked a lot about the cost and accommodation, and I've said, don't worry about it now. When we get to that bridge where you've been offered, and if there's any challenges around that, we will make sure we work out something that makes sense. How do we get the application form? You can get it on our website, Ishango.ai, and then it's how become a fellow link. But also I think we can send it out to everyone who's been on this chat as well. Courage.
I also shared it
in the chat.
So
perfect.
Yeah.
Right. I see. Yes. So if you have a background in electrical engineering, that's, we see engineering as a sort of mathematics-based physics, engineering, data, mathematics, computer science. It's really about you having the strong mathematical foundation to do the problem solving at the level that we want. So yeah, do apply. I think, is somebody speaking? Somebody else?
Eunice?
Yes.
Yeah, I think on that, in our cohort, we had somebody who was from the automotive engineering background, but she did very well as well. So I don't think that is really any bad.
Yeah, we had somebody with industrial engineering as well. So yeah, to apply, mainly, also, you need to have like, coding skills, and like I said, if there's a lot of free data science short courses and stuff. I think that's important for us to demonstrate that you have that passion already and interest in data science, and you've gone on and sort of completed some of these on your own as well. I think that's always something very good that we like to see. Will all applicants be notified of their status? Yes, you'll get an email if you're not, you haven't been selected to go through to the take-home assessment. And this will mainly be that you don't have the right, minimum level of sort of skills that we're looking for in terms of coding, in terms of, showing demonstrable interest and passion in data science. And maybe even you don't necessarily have the strong technical foundation. Because again, like I said, it's not about getting into a training program. It's about you're going to be working on delivering a project straight away. So you need to have that minimum level. Again, this doesn't stop you going back and learning and completing courses and coming back and applying next year. So please don't take it as a no forever. It's just may not be you're not yet at the right level now. There is a question, maybe Bright, can you answer this? How do I fit as a geometrician? You're into geo as well, aren't you? So there's a question from Christian. I'm currently doing prediction using MATLAB. This is
but I think MATLAB is also a very good programming language. But I don't know if the so programming in itself it gives you the sort of logic that you will need, correct? So once you're able to code very well in one of them, it should be easily possible to transfer that knowledge into another language. So to answer your question, yes, it is very good. You can fit in properly. Geo is a very good field. It involves a lot of programming. So if your programming is good, you are good to go.
But he's also asking, do you have a preparatory class for some of us who haven't mastered? I don't know what level you mean by mastered. We don't expect you to have mastered, but you need to have a certain level. So again, don't eliminate yourself before, just apply. It's the application form, I don't think is very long. So apply, and if you get through to the take-home assessment, it can take you a couple of hours to do, I think. Maybe, Bright, do you want to talk a bit about the technical assessment? How much time did it take for you to prepare to do it? You don't have to go into the details, but.
Okay. First of all, I want to say there are some few areas where you can test your programming stuff. I think Hacker Round is one of them. You can just test and see how good you are. It has a lot of programs there, questions there, of course, for you to try. So maybe I can put the link in the chat for you. How long it took me, I knew, or I've not used SQL in a long time. So when I had a test that involved SQL, I have to go back to sort of just read a little bit. I think it took me 2 days because I was working off and on. I solved one, I think 2 days or a day. Not in one sitting, of course. There were 3 questions. So I solved one, I think 2 of them, and then I just left the rest and come back to it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Another one asking a master's in electrical and computer engineering. Yeah, I think that sounds exactly what we want. A background in electrical. I think maybe for me, one of the key takeaways from this is we'll probably maybe add again to the form some of these backgrounds, because I think it's not necessarily clear when we say mathematics or computer science background that engineering and stuff is allowed. It's just that there's so many, you don't want to try and list them all, but I think there's a few that are recurring here that we will add, but definitely electrical computer engineering. That sounds like exactly the background we want. You will get updates if you've applied. If you applied before, so there is a sort of cutoff date. So if you applied before we officially opened these applications, I think they're open somewhere in February. So I saw there were some people who applied like in December last year, etc. So if you did that, please reapply. I would encourage you to reapply. Hopefully you have, again, it's not a very too long of a form. So just to make sure we have your application, or if not, send a message to us, send a message to Courage. I think you've got emails from him, and just give your name, maybe email address, and we can confirm if we have received your application. If for some reason you're unsure that we have your application, please double check with us.
Sorry, Eunice. I think the question, because I recognize this name, I think Didier applied for our last year's cohort, in which case you definitely need to reapply.
Yes, please. Yes, sorry. Yeah, good one, Yasmin. So yes, please do send another application form. I mean, I think it's in your best interest as well. You might have new experience to add on there, new things you've done. So yeah, please do. We are looking at the applications from for this application that we opened. So you need to reapply. Is it possible to update an education with extra projects files after submitting it? I don't think so. I think you probably need to just do the whole thing again and reapply. Accounting and finance background. I mean, unless you've really done quite a bit yourself on, teaching yourself to code and, data science courses online. So really it's about, again, like Bright said, there's programs on there. HackerRank is shared the screen. You can go and test what level you're at and the different coding languages, and you will have the take-home assignment. So, I would say if you feel you have some data science and knowledge, experience, and skills, please do apply, no matter what your background might be. COVID vaccination is compulsory to enter Ghana from South Africa. Okay. And okay, so Kigali, Rwanda, we're going to be doing it again in September, October. So if that's a preference for you, that's fine. And also questions like this, like COVID, etc. I would say, why don't you apply, go through the process, and then, again, for us, if it's a question of getting you there and any challenges, getting somebody over, these are things we'll work together with you. Like Yasmin said, it's quite a small group of maximum 15. So we really get like personalized support with all of these things. When we sent somebody's asking about, they've already applied and then they'll ask to join this session. Even if we sent this to everyone who applied, because we knew just filling in the application form doesn't mean that your questions are answered. Of course, you just saw a form, you didn't meet us, you didn't know about the program. So no, you don't need to reapply. It's actually proof that we got your application form. It's just about making sure that, that we can get your questions answered and you know more about the program. Visa assistance. Yes, so I think, again, ideally for us, if you get to a stage where you are the best candidate for a project and you're really good, we will do provide whatever support is needed to make sure that you're able to be able to attend attend the program. The one thing we're not able to do though is cover flight. So if you're coming from a different country, again, you may want to see where is the nearest place, or if you're able to get yourself there, because unfortunately we're not able to cover flights. But somebody's asking about a live coding session in the technical interview. No, it's not live. There is coding in the take-home assignment, and the platform we use takes a video of your coding, so we'll be able to see you how you coded and how you were able to approach the program. The program is going to be 8 weeks, so it's a 2-month program in which you need to be full-time. So think about the commitments you have right now. If you're already working, if you have, basically it's going to be 15th of May to 8th of July, and you need to be available full-time during that period. The number of fellows will be enrolling are a maximum of 15. So actually normally it's 14, because we need 2 people per project, and we take on a maximum of 7 projects. There's a reason why we keep this small. We want to make sure you get the right support. You have the supervision of data scientists in residence. Yeah, so it's quite a small cohort. Again, I see quite a lot of questions about the mathematics-based degree. Sorry?
I think Nyasha or somebody has a question.
Yeah.
Her hand has been out for a while, so if we can give her the chance to ask us, then we continue.
Which one is it? I haven't seen. Is it the one about?
Nyasha? She has her hand up. Yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry. I read a question from her about the COVID. Did you have another one, Nyasha?
Okay, no, it was the same set of questions. I think the only thing I did not quite catch was how long exactly the program is supposed to be.
So the residential is 8 weeks, so approximately 2 months. And for the first cohort, it's going to be of this year, it's going to be 15th of May to 8th of July. So yeah, so 8 weeks, and you need to be available, yeah, full time during that period. So, I think, did I have any others? Again, biochemistry, bioinformatics, you have done computer related courses, you have some basic, you have coding skills, you've done data courses, please do apply. And I think we will add some more clarity on the mathematics-based degree element, because we're getting quite a lot of questions from it. Sally, hopefully that answers your question. And somebody is asking, they said they are finalizing their thesis and waiting for the result. If you're, the whole point is we don't mind if you haven't actually graduated, but if you've completed your studies. Sorry, Courage, go on. Okay.
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Okay, so somebody's asking that they've completed they're in the final phase of their master's in computer science, and they've completed this. They will have submitted their thesis before the program. So as long as you're finished full-time study, so if you're going to, that's fine. Even if you haven't actually graduated, but you don't have to go to any classes, you don't have to do any research. Just know that this program needs you to be full-time there for 2 months. You're not going to be able to do anything else. Like Bright said, it's very challenging, it's very fast-paced. You're expected to deliver a lot in a short period of time. So if you think, or you're going to finalize your thesis, or if you think, you're going to be able to do classes in the evenings or something, it's not going to be possible. So as long as you've completed your obligations for studying, even if you don't have the actual final graduation, that's fine. And you can also, when we ask you on the grades that you have, you can put your cumulative grades so far, or your predicted grade, if you're able to provide, if you already have a document to that effect. If not, just put your cumulative score to date. Yeah. I think that's all the questions. Is there anyone whose question hasn't been answered? We are way over time now,
yeah,
but just want to make sure. Yes?
I think
I
from
think there was a
Miles
question on take-home assignment. Somebody didn't understand this. If you can.
What was it? I didn't see that one.
So what does a take-home assignment mean?
Oh, so the take-home assignment is an online technical assessment. You'll get a link to it will ask you. It's basically coding test. Do you want to talk about it, Bright? Maybe because you've been through it and you can talk about it in what's actually involved.
Yes. So I was actually going to refer to the question with Miles below because he wanted to know the interview process, the point. So yes, basically mine was, so we have two types of interview. You can have live coding interview and then take home. The take home live interview, you do it once like live, you cannot save the progress to continue afterwards. So what she meant by take home is that probably you could save that, you could work one question, then after 5 minutes, you come back and continue it. Secondly, the field that that I got interviewed were on SQL. Yeah, so try and brush up your SQL. Also on graph, node in graphs, and then also on regression. So you could have statistical regression. Just read all of the regression that you can know, and then see how they are programmed on any of your languages that you are comfortable with. Yes. Did I answer that? Yeah.
And we have Courage's email there, courage@ishango.ai, if anyone has any further questions. I think we'll also save the script from this and take a lot of the recurring ones, and we can put together an FAQ document as well, which we can share. So you have sort of some of these answers. Somebody's asking who are our partners this year with AI for climate change. We have, I mean, we can't confirm right now which projects we have coming up, but you get to know about them in the future as we go through. But again, like we said, we try and match to your skills and interests. So if there's no project that meets your skills, again, it's completely up to you to accept the offer or not, or take on the project, or see if there's some skills you can learn, even if it's not necessarily in the field you want. So yeah, I think let's maybe cross that bridge a bit later. As soon as we know, what projects we have, we will share them with the candidates who have the conditional offers, so that they can start to sort of think about, yeah, which ones they will be interested in going for.
The only couple of questions I saw was about the interview. They haven't been answered yet, have they?
Yeah.
More, okay, so I've sat in on a couple of interviews. I think I sat in on Bright's interview, and essentially it's with a technical advisor, and they want to know more about your experience. So if you prepare projects that you've worked on that you can walk through, educational experience, these are all things. We'll send out an email if you do make it through to the interview stage with some further guidance. But I would encourage you to be as forthcoming as possible, to showcase yourself and to be able to talk about your passions within the field, because as we've said, we try to match your individual project or your project placement with your own passions. I think that's all the questions now.
Yeah, great. So any other questions?
There's still one left.
Yeah, go on.
On visa application assistance. So I think if the person goes through, we can.
Yeah, I think I answered that. I think in terms of, helping write a letter to say you're a fellow on the program and this is your purpose for going, we'll be happy to do that. So we can't offer any, that's the sort of level of visa assistance we will be able to offer. Just proof that that's the purpose that you're going there for. But we will not be able to cover flights. So that's something to think about and consider in terms of which country you're applying for. We do plan on in the future running some of these in more countries. So again, if it's not this time, then you know, and I think it's always worth going through the process, because once we know that you have the technical skills, we will always have you, you know, sort of on file and sort of say, oh, we know we have somebody really good in this country. So that might actually be something that motivates us. You know, we have a number of really good people in this country, so that may motivate us to actually make sure we find partners and run it there. So again, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about the ECOWAS passport question. I don't know if anyone, either Courage or Bright, have an answer to this. But again, I think some of these, whatever visa is required, will, you know, I'm sure we'll be able to support you in getting that. Bright or Courage, do you have any to this?
Yeah, if you are from the ECOWAS region, you don't need a visa to come to Ghana for 2 months. If you're staying more than 3 months.
I know I don't need a visa either, so
yes.
Ghana is really good for that. Someone asked that question again, Bachelor of Science in Engineering, in another engineering field. If you have a bachelor in an engineering field, I mean, I did manufacturing engineering and I did some coding as part of that. So I think as long as you have that background of, you know, coding, computer science, mathematics, and you have, you know, an interest and you've done some data science courses and tools, you should be able to, you know, you will meet the minimum requirements, and then you should be able to go through to the technical interview to sort of assess what level you're at. So yeah, so please do apply. Kudi. Right. I think we're way over time, so I think we'll close now. Thank you all so much. It's been really exciting to see just the level of interest in the program, and also to see the backgrounds that everyone's been saying they're from, and the interest, you know, AI and climate change, etc. It just shows that we have a really good bunch of people on here. We're looking forward to receiving applications, and like I said, this is all, it's going to be a rolling basis. So and please don't be discouraged if you don't get through right now. Again, it's really, it's quite a big pool, and it's quite a small program. We're only looking for a maximum of 15. So if you don't go through this time, please keep going. We want you as part of our community. We did ask you in the form if you want to be part of our newsletter. We will be sharing, we're planning to share some resources on courses where you can go and brush up on your skills if you don't meet the requirement this time around. So please stay involved and stay part of the network as we grow together, and we never know what comes next for us. And to Courage, who's hosting us in Ghana, thank you for hosting us today. Any other questions, please do reach out to Courage. And thanks for the messages coming through.